So I got to see the solar eclipse today. It's pretty neat, and it gets me into thinking about ideas like the meaning of life, like solar dynamics, like quantum physics, like all these really vast things. And for the moment, I'm going to take God out of the picture. And I'm doing it for a good reason, because for one thing, I'll come back to that at the end. You have this one star they found. It's one of the oldest, it's a second generation star. And how they find this out is they measure the amount of iron in them, the light spectrum, and they figure it's like a second generation. So what you have is, early on, there were just atoms like mainly hydrogen, helium, different things like that. And iron will destroy a star. So all of your heavier metals like gold, silver, uranium, and that come from a star that explodes. So you're taking a star that is creating fission, and in a split second, a billion years of that power is given off to where it creates gold and silver and things like that. And in the original universe, you had, let's say, this Big Bang where all these atoms are scattered apart and they're all hydrogen. And they start to, like, meet one another. And they form different structures of helium and hydrogen. Because there would have been some helium. But these atoms formed stars eventually, and it would have been a cloud. They were the brightest stars that there were. They were massive, massive stars. And they actually burn out all of the other atoms that were in between them. So they cleared the universe, and then you create these big patterns. And when they explode, you have real super powerful massive things called black holes, which are not a hole. It's such a solid that light can't escape it. And you have this difference between light and dark, because the light is the energy being given off. Dark are the massive totality of it. That actually is what the Big Bang probably was, a singularity. So when we look at these stars, and like today you can see the corona, you see just how much energy is being given off. And all these atoms in your body are made from that. There's a very spiritual message there about every atom in your body is made of that. You are the most solid form of matter that there is, because even that radiation will affect you. So to put that into a different context is the idea that you are the universe, which started from those atoms coming together, forming stars, exploding, with all that massive power, being able to become perceptive of itself. And that's what your human life is. Very short human life is the universe becoming perceptive of itself. And when you really grasp that, I think that it makes your meaning, you know, all these things in your life that upset you and get in the way. But it makes them more important to you when you consider all that space and all that human life means that. So where do you put God back in the picture? Well, it's very simple. You put God back in the picture of what is not the universe perceiving itself. So, you know, light itself that comes from a star or the sun is atoms perceiving themselves, because you are other atoms from that. So when people ask, what is God? That's where the question goes, for what is not God. So that fine line there. So you still have room for God in there, you know, in that it's so mathematically perfect. And when you see just something today, like where the sun is this size, and the moon just happens to be perfectly lined up to where it looks to be the same size, you can see this. That's just such an amazing, the calculations in that are in the trillions. So just the random fact that you happen to be alive at that moment to see it or not. But I think that's why I find quantum physics so fascinating. There's that spirituality aspect to it, that it's more than just what you're taking in the numbers, and you take in the idea of coincidence doesn't exist, then you just find this mathematical reason that makes God unperceivable as a human being, and is the deepest form of spirituality, I believe. So